first step in theater at Loiederman is to take beginning theater as a 6th grade. We are actually the only middle school in Montgomery County that offers a full 3 years of theater that leads to high school credit. So beginning theater is for 6th graders only. And in the class, the students are learning the basics of performance. So we start off by getting to know each other in group building, which is a really awesome opportunity for students to really find their own community at Loiederman through the games that we play in class. Next, we move on to pantomime and using our body and how we use our body and our faces to express things, into the basics of improvisation, which is, of course, acting without a script. As the year goes on, we are constantly building on the students' skills. We have a vocal unit that students learn all about their instrument, and they make radio commercials and then eventually record themselves doing a radio play. Moving on to the second half of the year, students are starting to do scene work, first improvised, and then eventually moving on toward monologue and scene work to get them ready for fundamentals of theater, which is taught by my wonderful colleague, Miss Ostrega.
Thanks, Robin. So once students leave 6th grade and they come into my fundamentals of theater class in 7th grade, they've been really focusing on the self as an actor. And so when they come to me, we bring those concepts back and we kind of remember everything that we learned in 6th grade. And then we start to work with other people. So we really start to work on character relationships, how characters interact with one another on a stage, and build on that throughout the rest of quarter 1. We also focus on the history of theater. We spend a good amount of time talking about one of my personal favorites, Greek theater. We put on mini shows and we study all of the different Greek gods and goddesses in order to help us tell different stories from Greek theater. In quarter 3, we focus on technical theater. So we spend a lot of time learning how a show is put on, all of the different elements that go into it, including lighting, sound, costume, makeup, and set design. We also talk about props as well. Students have the option to put together and tech a show and talk about all the different fundamentals that they would put into that show based on the technical theater. So they get to design their props, design their set, design their costumes, things like that. It's actually a lot of fun, a big project, but it's a ton of fun. The last thing that we do together is we work on something called self-scripting or monologue writing. And when we do that, we are working together to create these stories about ourselves, and we perform these monologues to each other. It's a really fantastic way of me essentially saying goodbye to them before I hand them back to Miss Paley for our Theater 1A, Theater 1B courses. Miss Paley?
Thank you, Marie. So when the students are in 8th grade, being at Loiederman, they get the opportunity to take Theater 1A, 1B, which is a high school level theater class. However, unlike the class that they would take in high school, our students are beyond the beginning level that the high school students would be. So our class is actually more challenging than the beginning of Theater 1A in high school, which is just what is theater. Our students at this point know exactly what theater are, and they're ready for the next step. So we start off first quarter by partnering with the Only Theater, working with professional actors on Shakespeare. So each year we match our show that we study in class to the show that the national players are performing. And then the actors who are playing the roles actually come and work with the students on their scene work. Second quarter, we move into musical theater. We usually have guest artists coming from the Strathmore to assist with that. Don't worry if you're not a musical theater person. There's lots of ways to get involved. Students actually end up writing their own jukebox musical. Third quarter, we move into advanced acting, or what I like to call method acting. So students learn about Stanislavski and the different philosophies on creating a character. And definitely the students really, really grow then and do very advanced scene work. And then fourth quarter is rotating. Next year, my plan is to do a directing unit, so the students will learn how to direct, but in the past we've done playwriting, devising, more advanced scene work based on what the students want to do, because it's sort of their capstone to their Loiederman experience. So yeah, so that's Loiederman.
Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Foster. I teach theater for the beginners and sixth graders. Can't wait to see you guys in class.